Hey everybody, and welcome back to Hex Token channel. Your host Superman in the house, and of course another great day here in Pulsechain price discovery phase. Man, oh man, oh man, it's so good, and we're going to talk about it. So PulseX, of course, PRC20s price discovery is firing up, and of course we've also got a new link farm, but a very interesting link farm indeed. So we're going to talk about that later on. Stay tuned. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you guys are having a cool time. What else there? I'm gonna delete my first comment that I haven't deleted a comment for a long time in the chat, but I'm gonna delete it. Seriously, dude, you come to my chat there and FUD my chat. You gotta be kidding me. Timeout actually as well. I'm gonna time that one out. Here we are. We're gonna put timeout. There we are. All right, man. Some people are coming in the chat there and trying to FUD the chat at the beginning of the live stream. Can't believe it. We got Lies Beneath in the house there as well. Hello, how are you today? Very good, of course. We got also Hex, EHEX, PLS, and PLSX for the win. And of course, don't forget the incentive token from farming. And it's looking good. Who else has jumped in here as well? Check My Pulse. Good evening, Superman. Good to see you. Check My Pulse. What else? We're coming in here. Not buying anything, but RH tokens met PulseX Gold. Well done. And of course, now trying to accumulate T shares. Too many shiny things. I'm just trying to stay focused, take advantage of the opportunities presented. Nice one to check my pulse. Very good strategy indeed. We got Hexavator as well in the house there. Howdy, folks. Good to see Hexavator. Brennan as well. Morning, folks. Good to see you, Brennan. Who we got? Charity as well. Howdy. Did the ride start? I think so. I think it's warming up. For sure. We got KD in the house. Hey, KD. Good to see you. One of our two community leaders as well. We got Wookie. Apparently, Sexy Hexy is back, says Wookie. What else? We jumped in there. Lies Beneath you. You were straight on to that one. Very good. Brennan says, got to get out of here, buddy. Yeah, for sure on that one. Who else has jumped in here? Aaron Martin. Morning, fellas. Good to see you, Aaron. Welcome. Of course, we're going to get straight into it. Where are we going? We're going to go to Richard Hart updates, and then we're going to get into. We've got so much stuff lined up today. Stay tuned. It's going to be a fast train. All right, so here is Richard's updates the last 24 hours. 15 hours ago, Richard said, good idea. And of course, people reduce gas fees on Ethereum by enjoying their free airdrop coins on Pulsechain and trading them at PulseX. And of course, we agree with that. A bad idea. People moving in the wrong direction, increasing fees on ETH, swapping for ERC20s just to bridge them back to Pulsechain. And of course, Ethereum gas fees are best lowered by moving coins and trading to Pulsechain and not the other way around. Onboarding new users to things that may save them is the idea. Off-ramp existing users to things that suck is not the idea there. So obviously, you're going to have a bit of psychology there about people that have been stuck on, say, Ethereum for a long time. Although I know a lot of people that are not even trading on Ethereum anymore. They're trading on Pulsechain. It is super cheap. But what's the big carrot there? The big carrot, you got your big airdrop copy if you had it on the 10th of May. If you had assets on Ethereum on 10th of May, you'd have them copied over to Pulsechain. But here's the kicker. The kicker is the chance for big percentage, big extra returns. You won't get on Ethereum, but you can get them on Pulsechain. So it's very, very exciting, and more people are catching on to that as well. So we're going to talk about that, particularly around the meme coin. So I've got a poll up at the moment. And that is what non-RH tokens, in other words, what non-Richard Hart tokens have you bought the most on Pulsechain? Popular meme coins. We're thinking of Pepe and Shib and things like that. Native Pulsechain project coins. So already we had a few launched. We've got Daytona Finance. We've got PHUX and a few others. We've got tons of top ERC20, PRC20s, so which are not meme coins. There's lots of those. We're going to talk about them later on, or something else. You've got other category there as well. So get in there and vote for that. We'll check that out later on. All right, let's jump into the next update. 13 hours ago, he says, I'm calling a protest against protesters. You got to give them a sense of humor there. Sit around at home to join. Yeah. There's some pretty crazy protesters out there. What else we got 10 hours ago? The government loves the poor, so that instead of helping them get newer cars, they just ban the cars they can't afford from the city. A little insight there from Richard there. Then we had 10 hours ago, the Pepe community spits in your face while you try to help them. Anyone have counter examples? Obviously, you're always going to get a few of those, right? You get a couple of whales, maybe they don't like the Hex community or don't like this or that, you're always going to get them, spouting off. So there's a couple of posts around that. This one here has got, we prefer to buy real ones on a real chain. Thanks for the free 55 ETH tonight. Sorry about putting the top in. PP Farm, if you haven't bridged over to Pulse, there's free money waiting for you to dump on all the Hex retards. So this is a person's point of view, and you can decide what you think of that. But of course, if you're talking about to all your people on the channel, you're actually helping with adoption. So it's a sort of a win-win there, win for them and a win for the adoption, which is the whole point. So kind of cool. Who wants free money and was early? PP Holder, Pulsechain is legit the dumbest crap I've ever seen in my life. I made 15K for free. I'll take it. Read this thread for steps required. Well, it's true of all crypto, right? So everyone on every chain, on every token is after the mad gains. And if you can get mad gains, congratulations. And of course, they just spread the good word about Pulsechain to all their followers. So thanks very much for your service there. All right, what else we got going there as well? Imagine paying somebody to insult you. Yeah, but I guess they're paying a bit of a payment to get onboarding and spread the word about Pulsechain. You can only get the big X returns, big percentages relative to other chains on the Pulsechain. And of course, it's already riding back up the ranks there in terms of the top dexes. So imagine when we've got these other dexes like 9inch and others ticking away, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Now, nearly all PRC20s were given nearly exclusively to ERC20 holders. The exact same code, the exact same tickers, the exact same holders, a parallel world of low fees and sunshine. Some communities were smart enough to move over. Others prefer to get annihilated by gas fees, which in the bull run will be even more insane. That's right, especially on Ethereum there. I have never promoted a meme coin or NFT. I prefer utility, and we prefer utility on this channel as well. I still want to see those communities saved and help get gas fees down for everyone. That doesn't mean I want anyone to buy things I do not like. That's the sad part. The higher volatility of the PRC20 coins is like a crack to an addict. And of course, so how does one save Ethereum and its users from fees without promoting things you don't like? So interesting take there. Let's move on to the next one here. Also, we're going to talk about validators here. We've got RH Max, another influencer in the Pulsechain Hex community. And of course, want to become a Pulsechain validator, but struggling with Linux command line or using the terminal on Ubuntu. It's okay. This is a great video playlist to dedicate an hour or two learning with the first 10 videos. So that is from RH Max there. And I was just going to quickly check on that also. HODLdog, one of the biggest influencers in our Pulsechain community, has got updates for Pulsechain. And of course, highlighting the different clients that are used for the Pulsechain and Ethereum, of course. Go Pulse there, version 3, Aragon, Pulse there, version 2.3, and of course, Prism Pulse there, 2.2.2, and finally, Lighthouse Pulse version 2.3. So those new releases as well are out. That is with HODLdog there. So if you're looking at getting into validating, I'm going to post the link there. I think it's a very good option in terms of Pulsechain long term with the lower risk aspect to it. Obviously, you've got to manage your validator, keeping it online or so forth. Validator. So that's the first tweet there. You can get hold of those videos if you want to become a validator. I think it's a very good option. I see that I think I saw some influencer out there who's just going to become a validator as well. So that's kind of cool. Just trying to remember offhand who that was, but I just can't think of it at the moment. So that is another one too from HODLdog. So I'm going to post that as well. That is the HODLdog link there to validating. I think it's a very good option. Obviously, you need to get some hardware and stuff like that and a computer that's up to speed. But definitely check out some of those tweets. It'd be quite helpful for validating. Let us move. Oh, where did I go here? I've lost my way here on this here. All right, so that is HODLdog. Let's move on to some of the other updates. 7 hours ago, Richard Hart. This is really, really cool. And I really want to highlight this because this is very cool indeed. We've got from Richard Hart 7 hours ago. Wow, someone just burnt about $500,000 of PulseX. Wow, somebody just burnt about $500,000 of PulseX. That is so cool. And of course, we're going to talk about that when we get up to the Pulsechain prices. I'm going to hold that back until we get there because that's a cool measure. But nice to see the big burn there. Burn, baby, burn. Then, of course, 7 hours ago, we got how popular is Pulsechain.com. Very 141 million bridged in through the official bridge, 64 million and 21,659 validators, and of course 338,000 transactions today. And that's amazing, right? 338,000 transactions today, 58 million in volume today, which is awesome. And it's 281x cheaper than Ethereum and 17% faster. And I would obviously put in there all the big X returns, the big percentage gains that people are getting on price discovery at the moment. So it's going to be cool. The more decentralized validators, the higher APY percentages in native tokens to validators, and burns 25%. It really is amazing. Yeah, everything is just ticking away. All those different financial economic engines of Pulsechain, PulseX, just ticking away pretty nicely. And of course, and it's the world's largest free airdrop. You have a copy of all your coins you had at Ethereum about 8 weeks ago. We're going to talk about a few of those with whales. So you got a couple of the pictures that Richard showed, backing all the stuff up here, which is pretty cool. And we're going to talk about a lot of these things moving here around the whales. Then, of course, he followed that up with it's easy to keep going about how great Pulsechain.com is. It's better than all the layer 2s because they go down when the centralized sequences run out of funds. We've seen that heaps, right? Or otherwise have problems. Now, another aspect to this too is centralized exchanges are getting rid of some of the chains like Polygon and Cardano. And so that beefs up Ethereum and Pulsechain, which is really cool too. So that's another thing that I wanted to highlight as well. Centralized exchanges having to change which change you're on. So it's going to be pretty cool. It's better than all the layer 1s because it's the most battled hardened software, nearly identical to Ethereum. Really, really important point going into this next bull market too. And of course, with 25% burn in 10-second block times instead of 12. And it's the second most coins because everything from 8 weeks ago, that's the May the 10th, was bit for bit copied, tickers, code, and all from Ethereum. Full system state fork. And unlike other forks, you don't have to worry so much about ETH holders dumping on you because they got diluted 1.2 million X. However, the ERC20 copies didn't get diluted at all, though. So you got to remember that. And we did see that in the Pepe. We saw that in SHIB as well. We've seen some big whales that are on page 2 of holders sell down some of their free coins, and so you will get that. That's part of the ebbs and flows in those charts. You're going to see price discovery starts off now, but it's also obviously going to play out as we potentially could head to convergence, right? Where PRC20s tokens, at least for some of them, head to convergence, and maybe over time, maybe some of them even are worth more than the Ethereum version, the original version. So it's going to be fun to see that play out too. You also get scan.pulsechain.com and otter.pulsechain.com with no ads for scams like Etherscan has. And of course, Google's the worst, right? Google's the worst with crypto scams out there. And we've seen those that target Pulsechain as well and the official bridge. So you've got to be very careful using the official links. And you get free Infura if you're a dev, and because rpc.pulsechain.com is free, and you have nearly all of the liquidity in PulseX, making trades more efficient. And the volatility of PRC20s is like a magnet to traders. PulseX has buy and burn and farms, and we're going to talk about that buy and burn because we're just at a major milestone for that. And it's only deflationary. It can never mint a single new PLSX coin, which is fantastic. And Pulse raised 27 million, of course, for medical research charity, and it's only 7 weeks old. And the bridge has very low fees, and PulseX has lower fees than Ethereum. So Richard Hart excited, and of course he's pulling some of the levers now. Really is cool to see. We're just ramping up here. It really is cool. I think we're at ending day 52. We're on to day 53 very shortly. So that's some of the cool stuff. Finally, 2 hours ago, Richard said, you all better not sell good stuff to buy the bad stuff. We ain't trying to increase the Ethereum gas fees. So Pulsechain, Pulse gains, as we say, that's the place to be. All right, so that's all from Richard. We're going to come back to Richard at the end of the live stream. But we're going to move on pretty fast. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. So we're going to move on from there. Now, is this the one I was after? Can't remember if I was Maxi there. Yeah, Max. So I talked about RH Max. If you want to become validator, we've done that topic. All right. Now, Maddie Allen. This is hot off the news. This has only come out a couple of hours ago. Maddie Allen, of course, the conference, Pulsechain conference king, Hex conference king. And of course, he's just put this out. Justin, second annual Pulsechain conference announcement for August the 4th to the 5th, 2023 in Austin. So things are really ramping up, aren't they, for the Pulsechain community? Texas, of course, plus a concurrent 48-hour live stream co-hosted by Tangent there. So you got 2 people in the house there. I probably, so yeah, hopefully they get some other co-hosts, but yeah, that's kind of cool. Looking forward to having 69 YouTube channels participating again this year. So look forward to all your favorite influencers out there on YouTube. Second annual Pulse Conference live, so that's going to be cool. August the 4th, August the 5th there, so very nice on that one. I'll post the link in the chat there if you want to follow that up. That's the Pulsechain conference. Number 2. Awesome. All right. That is the link there, Pulsechain conference, so very nice. All right, so that is cool. Hot off the press is that one. And of course, here is something that's cool. I love this. We talked about SJ Wild yesterday, and of course, SJ Wild did appear in our chat yesterday. But the Pulsechain tour is on at the moment, and of course, this is the PulsechainTour.com bus, which is so cool. Reminds me of one of those buses out of the movies, and yeah, it's just parked here next to a nice little red barn, which is pretty classic all American, right? To have this red barn, and very cool. So SJ Wild said, just saw a couple of guys admiring the bus in a small town in Utah. Asked if they knew about Pulsechain. They said, of course. Isn't that cool? I love this, said SJ Wild there. So nice little pic there as well, parked up there on the tour. Now, you can obviously go to the full tour at SJ Wild's there, the PulsechainTour.com, and you can check all that out. So Pulsechain there, RGP. So it's also got the events that are going to be on. So all events across America as they go through. So kind of cool. 22nd of July. So these ones are coming up here. We've got Denver, and of course, then we've got Chicago. So lots of different spaces there. I'll post SJ Wild. Give SJ Wild a follow on Twitter if you're not following already. So SJ Wild there, and you can follow. And also, SJ Wild does Sci-Vibe as well. So Richard Hart's books does audio versions of Richard Hart's book there, the Sci-Vibe. If you want to check out Richard's worldview. All right. Let's post out the link to that. That is the site there if you want to go straight away to the website. You can check that out too. Well, there it is there. Bam. So that is the Pulsechain tour on now. So we've got this on now, and then we've got the conference in August. Things are ramping up. Yeah, baby, yeah. That's what we like to hear. Now we're going to move on to the markets now. We've got obviously the Federal Reserve meeting. Next one is coming up in 3 weeks and 2 days on the 26th of July. So interesting enough, we had a pause, if you remember last time, and the interest rates are at 5.25% on the federal funds rate. And we have 87% of the market now with 3 days and 3 weeks and 2 days to go is expecting a 25% rate rise. So if that does occur, we haven't reached the terminal rate yet. And of course, some people may think that we're overshooting here. I've seen top economists, particularly monetarists, who have said that the inflation war is over now, and that we're heading down towards the low inflation rate. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Of course, the Fed typically overshoots, and of course, we know how fast they've raised the rates, fastest in history. And of course, here we are at 5.25% on the federal funds rate for the United States, and being the reserve currency of the world as well. And so, yeah, it looks like they're going to, the market's pricing in another rate rise at the stage. So we'll see whether that changes dramatically over the next couple of weeks. But this has been pretty consistent last couple of days. So there we go. Stock market, of course, holding up there pretty nicely as well. So not too bad. Good environment for crypto. And talking about crypto, BTC making the move from 30,500. Yeah, baby, yeah. Bring on our mini bull market. And of course, potentially we could get the 40K. I'm very optimistic now that we've sort of smashed into 31. I'd like to see us go 32, 33. And of course, looking pretty good at the moment, 1.8%. Coinbase, of course, also rallied on news that the Chicago Board of Exchange put in their submission, Coinbase. So that's good news for Coinbase, especially after the SEC entanglement there. So things are starting to look up, aren't they? Starting to look a bit more peppy, and a little peppy there, a little meme coin there. But it's looking good. It's looking, things are starting to come together here as well. Now, the stock market, I'm not so sure, right? But crypto, I think maybe crypto can do some stuff because, we don't have so many ties to the real economy. It will take a bit longer to drag down, arguably. Although risk on and risk off is the greatest law of the planet. So we've definitely got some risk on at the moment. And, of course, some repricing, I think, too. reallocation to crypto. So looking good there. All right, ETH there at 953, not quite cracked 2,000 yet, but up 1.1%. Cracks 2,000, up and away, right? And that's going to be good for Pulsechain too. So looking forward to that. What else we got going here? We got BNB is up just a tad, $246 there. XRP up 1.2% as well. Dodge up 0.7%. So we've got a few moving there. ADA there is up 1.5% to 29.5 cents there on the ETH chain. What else we got going there? We got SHIB over there at the moment, interesting, up 1.3%. So here we are. See, on SHIB, on Ethereum, you can make a 1.3% gain. But on Pulsechain, ching ching, we're going to look at that later on. You can make massive potential gains, right? So that's the whole point. And what do crypto people follow? They follow the big gains, right? So it's going to be fun to see that play out as well. All right, let's move over from there. So we're in a good little pre-mini bull run there for BTC. So 31,000, looking good. We've got obviously Pulsechain. Let's look at Pulsechain. We've got some really cool milestones happening here. Regardless of the price level, we've actually got the price of Pulsechain up at the moment. Quadruple 0959 is the price, up almost 5%. And we've got this is only 4% now below the sacrifice price. But maybe it's about to just take off through the roof. We're on a day. What day are we on? We're on day 52. We're about to enter day 53. So looking good there. We're still in that sort of excitement price discovery phase. And of course, our burn at the moment, 134 billion burned, with about 131 billion of that burned by the Pulsechain official team validators exiting their 4,096 validators, right? So we're sitting at about 3 billion burn on the Pulse there, give or take. And of course, PulseX here, this is the talk of the town today. Of course, quadruple 0307. So the price level, still a massive discount, 69% percentage points below sacrifice price. So potentially a lot of huge upside there, but it is up 7% today. And interestingly enough, at the moment, it is up more than Pulse, which has not typically been the case. So it's up more than Pulse today, 7%, which is really nice to see. And of really importance is the burn. Look at that burn. We were just 2 days ago, we were at 200 billion, and now we're at 222 billion burn now. Isn't that incredible? 222 billion. And of course, that comes back to Richard Hart's tweet as well. Yeah, 222 billion burned. We also hit the big milestone of 1%. We're now at 1.06% of the public supply of PulseX is now burned, gone forever. And of course, here we are on the end of day 52. It's pretty spectacular to hit that on day 52, 1%, over 1%. So we'll be looking forward to that in the future. It's going to be very, very fun. We're going to be watching that market, but that is our first key milestone, hitting 1% of the PulseX burn. So very, very cool. Moving to the ratio, one pulse will get you 3.13 PulseX at the moment, which is pretty amazing. One pulse will get you 3.13 PulseX. Look at that. It's even up 8% now. So it's gone up another percentage points. Pretty cool on that. Now, incentive token, it is up 3.7% on the dollar amount. But of course, we're looking at the ratio, how much incentive token to the Pulse ratio. It is at 61,209. We're going to check that on the charts later on. But that is where we're ticking over at the moment. And the total supply of incentive tokens is now at 4.5 million. So remember, it started off at 0 with all the farms minting out incentive token. We're now at 4.5 million. That is the headline number there. Now, getting into Hex. Hex is the performer of the day. And of course, there have many people in the community backing Hex as going to be the best performer. And at the moment, they are looking like the golden childs because it is doing pretty well. So we're Hex at 1.51 cents. And of course, that is up 15.5%. So 3 times higher than the Pulse at the moment today. And of course, if you include Hex on Ethereum or eHex, you got 2.3 cents. So a nice little move up higher there for Hex. As you guys know, I'd love to see Hex move back into the 3 cent range. And of course, that would be with a combined PHEX and eHex there. Now, what's of interesting importance, we're going to see this on the chart, is that 1 Hex now is worth 157 Pulse. 1 Hex is worth 157 Pulse at the moment. So it is heading back towards our testnet numbers, up towards 200 Pulse to 1 Hex. So that's really fascinating to see that. And we're on end of day 52, coming up to day 53. So some interesting stuff going on there. as well. So yeah, we've got nice percentage gains. We've got some interesting ratio movements, and so yeah, pretty crazy out there. But some cool milestones, particularly the PulseX reaching over 1% of the buy and burn. That is awesome, and we're just getting warmed up. We've got all the big protocols coming in month 3, based on the information we have at the moment. We've got Richard ramping up his playbook, as we will say, and of course it's going to be fun to see that all play out. And of course we've got the markets looking pretty peppy at the moment as well, so it's looking good, folks. So that is the Pulsechain. Let's have a quick look at the validators before we move on into some other details. We've got 695.4 billion is currently staked with the validators. We've got 21,732 validators at the moment. It says here we've got 1 entering as well. Like I say, if you checked out the RH Max and the Hodl Dog stuff, you want to find out how to become a validator, I think it's a pretty good option. We got 22.3% is the current APR, and nice to go there. And of course, you can still get Pulse reasonably cheap, so you can get yourself a validator. You need 32 million Pulse to be a validator at the moment, so it's still pretty good entry there. What happens if Pulse goes 3x? Instead of going around $3,000, it's going to be $9,000. So you got to take that into consideration as well. So just remember that. All right, that is the highlight there. We'll go one more look here. We're going to look at the gas prices. We've got 6 cents for a PulseX swap at the moment, 0.4 of a penny for a Pulse coin transfer, and 1 cent for a PRC20 transfer. We might even look at the PulseX stats here today. Hopefully they're working all right. Yeah, so transactions up 2.32% on transactions. And I'm just not too sure about these other numbers. We've got liquidity up 4%. It says that volume is down 34%. So I'm not sure what that's measuring from yesterday. But of course, maybe that's a partial day. So we'll come back to that. All right, let's get into some of the news. One of our biggest top tier utility projects, which is probably launching a lot of their stuff in month 3, maybe month 4, is Power City. But of course, they've already got their Portal X swap up, which is probably going to be the preeminent super DEX without a doubt. And of course, heads up, exciting news from Power City has partnered with Crypto Rubik for a remarkable Galaxy celebration, marking our integration with Pulsechain.com. So very exciting news there. And of course, you can see here, Rubik is a cross-chain tech aggregator for users, tools of dApps, and of course trades 15,500 tokens across 60 networks through the aggregation of 90 plus DEXs and bridges. So they've got 134,000 followers. So that's a huge exposure for Pulsechain and Power City in Portal X. That's really amazing. So very exciting. Going to get some free advertising through there as well. That looks really good. So that's on Pulsechain. So join us at PulseX Swap.io or Rubik Exchange from July the 3rd to the 17th to grab exclusive Galaxy NFTs and be part of the action. So they've even pulled NFTs into the action there. Don't miss this opportunity to receive a portion of the incredible airdrop rewards, 75 million Pulse, a whopping 850,000 RBC, and of course $8,750 in electrifying Watt token. Watt, of course, being the main token there for Power City. Get all the thrilling details at Power City. And of course, when you go to stake the Watt token, you get a share of all the fees that are going through all their top tier dApps that will be on their ecosystem, which is going to be one of the top 3 utility projects native to Pulsechain at the moment. So it'd be very unusual for them to get knocked off, but that is where we're looking at as well. So very exciting. And of course, that warp speed there is quite appropriate. So awesome stuff there. I'm going to post the link to this announcement in the chat there. But this is a really another cool big deal for Pulsechain ecosystems growth. So very exciting about that. So yeah, we're going to talk more about this as well. So Pulsechain's ecosystem is going to expand like a balloon, and we've got lots of developers building a lot of stuff out. A lot of the top tier stuff is still to come, maybe month 3, maybe month 4. But definitely a lot of it should be in month 3 there. So it's just expanding. So exciting to see that. So very cool. That brings us on to the Pulsechain builders. Hey Pulsechain, many of you have heard of us individually through the projects we build for the ecosystem. So this is the developers group on Pulsechain. And of course, now they've got their own Twitter account, which is really cool. Some of you have heard of us as a group. We are here to make Pulsechain stronger. We are here to bring utility innovation. We are the Builders Guild, which is pretty cool. And it's already got 14,500 views here. You can see KG from Internet Money, one of the best assets on Pulsechain. Honored to be a part of it. Obviously, honored to have you part of it. Thanks very much. PHux there. Nice. The team PH is excited to see this as well. So you already see some of the project teams that are building also on there. We got Tetra, BNB Pot, NFT on Pulse. I mean, they're all jumping in there. So very excited to see this new Twitter here. Now we've got 245 followers just launched, but definitely get on there if you want to follow all the project teams that have been launching on Pulsechain. This may be a good avenue for information, which is pretty cool. So Pulsechain, builders, yeah. So you can check that out, bam, and definitely give them a follow. All right, that is it there at the moment. Now, before we move on to the price charts, we've got so much more in store. We're going to just catch up on the chat there to see who else has jumped in here. Let me go all the way back. We had a few people in here earlier. I'm going to jump to there. Charity says the writing is starting. Indeed. Here we go. Aaron Martin as well. Morning, fellas. Good to see Aaron. Who else has jumped in here? We've got Brian in the house. Good to see Brian, one of our 2 community leaders. Charity as well. Good to see Charity. Archipelago. Hi, all. Good to see Archipelago. Who else has jumped in here? Joey Torres. Hi, all. Christian as well. Yo. Good to see you, Christian. Hello, Hex Token and family from Sandy Beach. There's plenty of news for Sandy for you to spread out there in your influencer land. That's for sure. Going to be hot in Austin, says Katie. Yeah. They got a Starlink dish on top of that bus head. Yeah, that's pretty good. Starlink definitely making an impact globally. I've seen Starlinks being put up in I think Africa and all sorts of places. It's in the most odd places. Definitely Starlink is it's going to be huge. I think they're going to have something like 35,000 low orbit satellites. So it's going to be global pretty much. It feels like it's funny how we see all these movies, like the old future movies like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then we've got all these things all happening now. It's kind of weird like that. It's kind of weird. Are you going to the conference? Probably not, Sandy, because I'm down in New Zealand, but it would be nice to, if you're in the United States or can travel there, that's probably a good idea. Joshua Hill says, what would make the incentive token go up? I've talked about this a couple of times the last couple of days, and that would be that if there's an end of mile solution or more farms, those sort of things, Joshua, may be the ones that hold the incentive token up there. We'll see whether that is part of Richard's playbook. It would be interesting. So I think it would be quite genius if you had that. It could be Sacrifice as well, maybe Heart's Wallet. There's lots of different options out there that people have thought up. We will see. I've been scooping up EHEX and PLXX at these prices, says Charity. Nice, well done. We got StakeX as well. Welcome rock and roll, Randy the Hex Token. Who is that? We got Condor as well. Superman is the Oracle of Auckland. Hey, thanks. Nice to see you, Condor. And Auckland is a great city, that's for sure. I'm not sure if I'm the Oracle of Auckland, but it's definitely a great city. Where else have we got there? Let me jump through some of those comments. We've got Andrew Reynolds in the house. Good to see Andrew. Morning, everybody. We got Moonmutt as well. Glad to be here with you live. Hey, good to see you, Moonmutt. Very, very cool. Enjoying the same ride that we're all on. We're having a good time here on Pulsechain. Genuine as well. Hi, all. Better late than never. You are just in time. And yeah, Superman on the live streams, 100%. I don't know. Maybe not, Sandy. We'll see. I haven't been invited, but we'll see. Probably not. We'll see how we go. Right, that is that. Let's get into the charts and have a look at the Pulsechain. This is looking much better. Look at this. We've held the support so far. Looking good. We didn't quite bounce off it, but it was holding pretty well. There's the old support here for Pulsechain. You can see the trend is your friend and moving sideways at the moment. We can confidently say moving sideways. Certainly holding up the support line, not breaking down. So let's see how we go. We have, it would be nice to itch out another high. I'd like to get to 12,000 on here. So that's with 3 zeros in front of it. At the moment, we're at 9,565 with 4 zeros. So yeah, it'd be nice to get that moving up there as well. But so far, looking not too bad. Not too bad there for the old Pulse. PulseX, obviously, bonded liquidity, looking pretty similar. However, the ratio's gone down, right? The PulseX to Pulse ratio. So it's got a much different structure here. Managed to hold on to 2,787. And we've got nice green days here at the moment. So we'll see if we can itch ourselves up there. Now, how far to go to get back to sacrifice price? Well, it is 224%. So that seems like easy money for me. As Floyd Mayweather would say, easy money. Just a matter of time, right? Just a matter of holding on there. If you believe in Pulsechain growth, then that seems like easy money, the law of convergence and all that. So at the very minimum, right? Just getting back to sacrifice would be the very minimum. Of course, if you think that PulseX will do 10x, 100x, or whatever you think it's going to do, then that's just the opening salvo, little baby steps to get back there. So it's going to be fun to see 225% sitting there. You can't often say that when you're looking at investments, but hey, not financial advice, of course. Do your own due diligence, all the good stuff, but not bad there at the moment. And of course, we're sitting at quadruple 03093. Now that moves us on to the incentive token. We've got the incentive token at the moment is at 61,187. We have slowed down in the shedding. We were shedding a lot in the downtrend, but has slowed down the last couple of days, so that's kind of cool. I did feel that we potentially may have a pause around the 50,000 mark down to 40. And of course, remember we started the run from 35,000 pulse, so definitely may happen. Obviously, we've got more farms up at the moment, but the multipliers have been switched around, which has been a lever I've talked about at the beginning. And of course, it's nice to see them actually be used, the multiplier on the farms. They sort of seem to be subtly changed, and some people pick up on that and others don't. But anyway, that is the incentive token. Looking at Hex, of course. Hex having a great day. Look at that. Nice big pump. And we're sitting at 1.515 cents on Pulsechain. Pretty good here. And yeah, that is the Pulsechain price. Look at that. It's looking really good. Looks like we're out almost at breakout too. Don't know if Brendan's in the chat there, but he might comment on that. That's looking pretty good. We've got higher lows, and looks like we're about to break up to the upside. So maybe we'll get into that 3 cent range with EHEX as well combined, like I said. So it's looking definitely promising for that, especially with Bitcoin moving higher as well. On the ETH chain there, we got as high, this is a Hex on the ETH chain, we got as high as 82 hundredths of a cent. We're at now just below 8/10 of a cent at the moment. That's looking okay at this stage. So obviously if a Pulse Hex on Pulse goes up, that'll probably go up pretty well too. And let's have a look at the ratio. Let's pull up the ratio here, because I want to pull up the ratio of EHEX to PHEX. So let's do that. Let's go to Pulsechain. Let's pull up the ratios. Here we are, EHEX and PHEX. And let's switch that. Actually, I could have just done that with the other chart, but I think now that I'm thinking about it. But we're at 53. Man. So 53. So that yellow line there is parity, right? So that's EHEX and PHEX, or Hex on Pulsechain, Hex on Ethereum chain being 1-to-1. And look, it's broken down. EHEX is down at 53% of Hex on Pulsechain. So Pulsechain, those in that camp is definitely winning out at the moment. We're on day 52, and of course that trend is your friend there. So definitely Pulsechain is dominating now. So there we go. But will it maintain that over time? There's always the option, of course, and that is Johnny Chaos often raises this about you got smaller liquidity on the Hex side on ETH, and of course easy to move the price up. So maybe someone might do that, and this gap that we've got here may close up. We'll see. Food for thought. It's going to be fun to see that play out. All right, so that is Rich Art Tokens. We're going to get into the top PRC20s and ERC20s. We've got a whole ton on the list, as you can see, that potentially might get priced up. Some of them are a bit further down the list, but definitely looking pretty good. We've got Lido. So everything is starting to move. All the price discovery is really firing up, and it really is. Richard's pulling some levers, and of course, people are following the trends as well with the price discovery of these PRC20s. And once you sort of ignite them, you get them going, then they get a life of their own, right? They get a life of their own, and people start to speculate on them, even when there's not farms around. And of course, that's going to be fun to see. And they start to value up. Pulsechain generally gets valued up, maybe more utilities coming in month 3 and stuff like that. Then these get even more life, because there's so much more happening in the Pulsechain with some of these top places that people are speculating on some of these popular tokens that are out there. And so it's very, very cool, particularly ones that are not reliant on team support. They should do particularly well on Pulsechain. Anyway, we've got Lido at the moment. Of course, Lido there is the Ethereum staking, liquid staking coin, and that is up 85% at the moment. Yeah, like a boss, man. Now you got to take into account liquidity, but look at that chart. Yowza, yowza, yowza. It's got 35K liquidity, so it is a retail play. But man, look at that chart there. That is the daily. There's the daily. So 2 days of strong movements there. Pretty crazy, incredible stuff there. So yeah, obviously that's probably, it may or may not hold up. So just take into account these are not all created equal. Some of them are made do very well. We've got Maker as well. Maker is up 74% as well. They got 155K liquidity. That's a much better liquidity pool. And that's at $7.17 at the moment on Maker DAO there. So looking not too bad. Is the old Maker. That looks a lot easier chart there. That may take off too. Some people are now, of course, trying to guess which farms are going to be pushed up as well. That is part of the magic from Richard Hart. We're backing up, at least getting things going with the farms there for certain pools. We've had Wrap Bitcoin and so forth. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So we've got Link there, of course. Link is up and to the right too. So we're going to talk about that. Which one should we go to? We've got a lot to talk about Link, which is the new leak farm on the video title. Which one am I going to here? We're going to have a look at Link on Pulsechain. And it is up 60%. So that's actually looking pretty nice. The old volume, see the old volume come in there. Prices moved up pretty nicely. That red week the other day, of course, was the big whale that we saw. Dumped a lot of charts, and the price is recovering after that. So there we go. So even if you got whales, so we've got lots of whales that got their copies, right? They got the copies on Pulsechain. Some of them may know about them, and they can always do what the other whale did the other day and violently dump them. But of course, then the market starts to price them. Now they're being redistributed, the market starts buying them up. So this is the way it works sometimes. All right, so that is a Link, and that brings us into the Link discussion because we've got other coins here doing pretty well as well. We've got Axis Infinity is up 41% at the moment. So let's have a look at a few of these charts. Look at that. That's 10 cents at the moment. So that's on the daily. Axis Infinity. What else do we got? Matic also got priced up. And we're up 39%. Look at the Matic there. Woohoo! So it's up at 0.00. So just under 7/10 of a penny. There's the old Matic. So they're all sorts of chilling around there as well. But you can see a lot of them are doing pretty well. We got Fetch there as well. So if you like AI, Fetch is doing not too bad. Look at that Fetch there. Woo! 1 cent all the way to 1 cent there. It was at 0.2 of a penny all the way to 1 cent. So pretty awesome there on the old one there. What else we got going? Lots of others. Compound. They're all doing pretty well here. Some of them are definitely still opportunities to pick up there early for the early upside. So that is some of the stuff's going on there. But of course, PulseX has had the new Link farm added. Well, of course, we saw the Wrap Bitcoin. We've seen the Pepe added, and we've seen the Link. Now, Pepe yesterday was dramatic, of course. We saw some those dumpers. We saw some of their comments, some of the comments there on Richard Hart's Twitter from some whales. But definitely some interesting stuff happening there. And of course, the Links just popped up today. Now, when I looked at this a couple hours ago, this was up in the thousands of percent. Now it's down at 355%. Now, the farm multiplier, and of course, very important to look at, is a 1x. So it's a 1x at the moment. And of course, yesterday we had, or 2 days ago, we had the Pepe one. The Pepe farm is currently, let's have a look at this one. The first one is at a 0.05x. Pretty interesting. And this is Pepe from Ethereum and Pepe from Pulsechain. So you're binding those two together. So adding more value to the Pepe on Pulsechain. And you got the Pepe on Pulsechain versus Rat Pulse tying the liquidity in there as well. So you're really adding the emphasis on the Pulsechain version. And that at the moment has a 0.25x multiplier. And those have all gone down. Those two gone down since yesterday. So some interesting playing around, tinkering around there with Richard's team, let's say. So interesting. And of course, we've got this new one here of farm 1x multiplier. And of course, you can see here that this farm here, if you look at them, we've got Wrap Bitcoin from Ethereum and Wrapped Bitcoin from LP. We've got Wrap Bitcoin, a Pepe from Ethereum and Pepe from Pulsechain. So you're really valuing these two up. And of course, you've got some interesting switches here. You got Wrap Bitcoin there, pulling in Wrap Bitcoin from Ethereum because you're matching it up with Wrap Pulse. And then you're also putting a incentive token reward on it. So you're tracking that stuff from Ethereum. You're bringing it over to Pulsechain. You're also doing that for Pepe, bringing a Pepe over to Pulsechain. And of course, you got that time as well. And now we've got a pool here. Interestingly enough, we're bringing Link over to Pulsechain, but we haven't got the link to Pulse link on this one. So interesting. Will that pop up too? Because at the moment we're certainly attracting the capital over to trade on Pulsechain, and of course that fits in with a lot of Richard Hart's tweets about you're better off on Pulsechain. You got the cheap Pulsechain, you got your copies, you've got everything is better, and you've got the potential for big upside too with your free copies, right? And of course you can pair them up together, and you can earn liquidity fees. So you got all that sort of dynamics going on. So some interesting little play there from Richard. So hopefully that's pretty play. And of course we've got our video we like to play about this sort of topic.
They have your code and your ticker on this network, and you can't stop it from being traded.
Right.
And so there's a derivative, and then if there's liquidity bonding the prices together, so if, let's say you have Chainlink on Ethereum, and then after launch, price bounces around a while, but I bet that over time that these prices will move similarly.
Right.
Right. I think that the Link ticker on Pulsechain is likely to move similarly to the Link ticker on Ethereum.
Right. Just because of the bridge, right? And
well, because they're bonded by the liquidity.
Right.
And then it's the same code with the same ticker. Now, do you want to pay $100 or $300 to trade it on Ethereum, or do you want to pay a penny to trade it over here? And we already know this answer because they're doing it on other networks as well.
Yeah.
People do trading on alternate networks, and then we're the one that you don't like. Your coins are already here. You don't even have to bridge over.
Right.
You've already got your free coins here. You can already access them by changing one setting in your MetaMask. It's awesome.
Dude, it sounds
well.
It sounds pretty awesome.
Well, that's the trick. That's the magic. Is you launch this whole network with all these new coins. How do you get those new coins to be valuable?
Right.
But by not letting anyone ever stop the trading, by having the same tickers, and by giving people a reason to back the value of the things they got free.
Right.
By rewarding them with a yield farming token. It's like a giant vampire attack, basically. It's a giant vampire attack.
All right, so there's a bit of insight into around some of these strategies with the pools, and of course, will be interesting to see whether we do get a link and a link on Pulse Vision. Now, obviously, Chainlink. This is the website for Chainlink, all the services and stuff that they have, and we've also obviously got the pool here at the moment that's being incentivized, and you can see the price of Link there, which matches, of course, pretty much the Chainlink price there. So we got $6.58. We got $6.61 here on CoinGecko for Chainlink there, ranked number 23 on the CoinList ranking site there. There's some pretty interesting stuff happening with these pools, and of course it's getting everything ignited and turned over, and of course everything else is starting to run as well without even having farms. People were speculating on that as well, but once they start speculating on it, it becomes a sort of getting the engine lit and price discovery in place there for all these PRC20s. Lots of other ones, of course, Floki, Aave, Compound, lots of them in there, Sushi, Rapid Coin, lots of players in there at the moment. So very, very exciting to see these grow as well. And which ones will head over time to the value of Ethereum, right? So you're probably looking at some of the ones, like I say, like the meme coins, SHIB, Pepe, and things like that will probably start to price up, especially as Pulsechain gets more valuable, especially as we get a lot of these top tier projects adding to Pulsechain. They're all going to pump the prices of Pulsechain. They're all going to provide lending and DeFi and margin trading and all sorts of stuff that is on other platforms that you need to have on Pulsechain. So the whole ecosystem is just going to continue to expand. And of course, there'll be more people and more interest in these cheaper versions. It's like going back in time on Ethereum, and of course getting in early and then getting out to price up these stuff. And you'll have some whales come in and violently impact the chart, but of course that's a redistribution, and of course people get to price those in, particularly at the early days when the prices are still maybe just a percentage of the value on the chain there. So pretty interesting stuff there to see. And of course, let's have a quick look at the link on Pulsechain at the moment. We'll probably pick up V1 here. As like I said, it's currently at 9.5 cents. So here it is, $6.58 on the Ethereum chain, or this is on the Pulsechain Vision, but 9 cents there as well. So what percentage will that end up being, right? So let's take 0.095 and divide that by the Bridgeton link, which is $6.58. $6.58, and that is 1.4% of the value of the link on there. Now, obviously, the link has it has utility to it. So will it get all the way up? Maybe it gets to 5%, 10%, 15% of the price of the Ethereum Vision. But maybe for other tokens like SHIB, maybe SHIB gets to go to all the way. Maybe SHIB gets to go all the way to the value of SHIB, and maybe even surpasses it. Maybe that's even possible. We're at 50775 on the Ethereum side, and of course we're at 6044422 on the Pulsechain side. And of course we've got this nice little uptrend going here. We had a big whale that was on page number 2 sell down the SHIB here. That's where here they were a big whale. They've virtually sold all of it, if I'm correct. If they have got any left, it's not much. But they've pretty much sold it, taken their money, and off they've gone, right? They may be back. Maybe they'll start spending their money on something else on Pulsechain, because Pulsechain, they'll go, actually, I really do want to play on Pulsechain. It's cheap. There's lots of opportunity to make big gains. I go to Ethereum. It's expensive, and maybe not so many opportunities. I got to be really more clever over there. But I can go to Pulsechain, and I can start almost from the beginning, and I can buy these assets. So you see what I mean? All these things. So even if they get out of some things, maybe they come back later on and go, actually, I took maybe 20,000 and now it's worth like $2 million. Maybe I didn't make the right decision there. So you see what I mean? This sort of stuff will play out, and it's going to be fun to see. All right, so that is kind of cool happening there. So if we see the SHIB at the moment on that, we've got 60422 as well. And here we've got 00077. So let's do some quick math on there. And 775. Now I haven't compared market caps and stuff, but the supply should be the same. So divided that by the SHIB on there. So we've got 6 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 422. So that's a 18.3x potential gain sitting in the old SHIB there. And so maybe it just slowly heads over. It doesn't mean that it doesn't come back down again, right? Find a new low and go back up, right? So it doesn't mean it's just going to go up and to the right, but maybe over time it just slowly oscillates itself up with higher lows, higher highs up towards the SHIB side there. Now, obviously, SHIB has things like Shibarium chain coming, the layer 2. It has their metaverse as well. So there are things that may separate out. So you've got to look at each coin in particular separately. But essentially, it's a meme coin, right? So even with those utilities that have tacked on later after SHIB become big and popular with one of the biggest communities, it's definitely a case there. But hey, maybe that doesn't even matter. Maybe the fact is that people just want to. It's so much cheaper to operate over on Pulsechain, and maybe someone else provides a use case for SHIB as well if people are after that. But typically, people are pricing memes just because they're memes, and that's pretty much it. So it's going to be fun to see this all play out. But definitely, potentially, that could 18x upside on that. All right. The other thing, of course, we're going to move from there. So let me just close out some of these, and we've got. Pepe at the moment. Obviously, Pepe, another popular one. So I'm just picking on a few of these popular meme coins. We've got Pepe here at the moment, is at 703168. And of course, it's had a big run there with the farms, with the big yield farms over there, of course. And they have the ratio, the percentages have come down dramatically. And of course, the multiplier looks like it's been changed as well down. And here we are, we've got the big price, and of course, the whales taking profits. But now it looks like possibly we will find some support here just below the 61.8 here as well on this rise. Now, typically, if you have a pretty big rise, you can often come back down below the 78.6, which would be down at 2,000. We're currently at 3,164 at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see what we hold there. Obviously, all the others are doing pretty well, so maybe Pepe will bubble up here and move up as well. We'll see. But in any case, you got Pepe there at 703164. And you got Pepe on Ethereum at the moment at 50182. So let's do a quick math on that, see what the upside. We had 18x on the old SHIB. Let's see what this would be. So we've got 5 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 182 divided by this price here, which is 7 zeros, 0.1234567 3164 there. So that's a 57x potential upside on the old Pepe there. So kind of cool. Now, obviously, you can look at different characteristics of the Pepe to see how far you think it might go. But 757x, maybe this is particularly low. And of course, it does also have a backing incentive token yield as well. So it's not just price, but yield on top that you can potentially capture. Obviously, that can be volatile, but that is what's there at the moment. All right, so kind of cool there on the old Peppy, and that is pure meme, right? Pure meme there. So not too bad as well. All right, so that's some of the ones that I want to cover. We're gonna have a quick look now at the top memes as well that are coming up with the native of the Pulsechain. We've got Pulse Dodge here. We've got Pulse Paul Pleb. They're the ones that are doing well at the moment, and of course they're both associated to the founder of 9-inch Dex. And 9-inch Dex is about to launch. Well, it's going to launch soon. Let's say on Pulsechain. And be one of the big dexes, and of course going to focus on meme coins and other popular tokens that are people wanting to get up in there. I'm sure we'll see probably see things like time token from Internet Wallet and things like that on there. But at the moment, we got 5 hours ago, we got Win launch, Win 9-inch, and then of course that's pretty close there, and they're going to release it soon there. So that is coming up for the 9-inch, and of course that's had huge capital sacrifice for that. And they're going to have massive incentives there with the BBC token, as well as the 9-inch main token there as well. So it's going to be fun to see that play out. Like I said to you guys, I'm not too sure about the 9-inch token there being dumped on with the referrals, because that will probably happen. That typically happens. But in saying that, the pools look pretty attractive. So the pools may do very well indeed, and all the tokens going to the pools going to provide even more buy demand. And of course, that potentially these PLD and Paul Pleb are going to be supported on there, so that we could see these both super fire. They already rallied leading up. Of course, they already rallied. You can see this on Pulse Dodge here. They already rallied up and have taken some profits, but you can already see it bouncing back here. And of course, maybe that will really do a super takeoff when the actual pool opens up. Makes sense on what we've seen so far. So it's going to be really fun to see that. They've also got a lot of similar tokenomics supercharged like PulseX with the buy and burns of the main token and incentive token as well. And of course, the LP providers all get paid. So you can sort of see the LPs get paid big time, 9-inch and BBC token holders too. It's going to be pretty fun. They've got a cool UX. You can see lots of popular tokens in there, including Rich Art stuff. And of course, pre-farm. They had pre-farm. They're not going to have any in the first 24-hour farms, will not mint any BBC. This is to give everybody the opportunity to build their position and start at the same time. No one gets an outside advantage by being firsts. So that's kind of cool. They've got some gamification there. Now, tokens associated with the 9-inch Dex, such as PLD and PP, are already moving up together. Of course, we can see that in the chart here, already moved up. And of course, already moving up, define the Pulsechain and PulseX red candle gravity. And we've talked about this as well. So yeah, they're going to be supported early on as well in the chain. So pretty cool there. So right, so that's kind of cool. That's the Pulse Dodge one there. We've also got the Paul Pleb, which is also associated to 9-inch. They're going to have get pulls, and that is currently already been priced up as well, like they said. But hey, that may break out, a super breakout to the upside there. It's got 401320, only 16k liquidity. Paul Plebs are small pools, but these could get big very quickly. So definitely things to look out there as well. So not only we talked about the top PRC20s and things like that, we've also got these top native Pulsechain memes as well. They're doing well. We've also got Ben in there. Ben's actually just taken a dive the last 24 hours, actually. Ben there down as well. Had a big pump yesterday, a dump today. So it's going to be interesting as well. Definitely follow BitBoy if you want to find out more about that. And I believe that he was on Corey Costa's live stream the other day, a YouTube channel. You can check that out too. So lots of stuff happening there. All right, that leads us into Pulsechain projects. The top performer today, Pulse Reflections, funny enough. There's the top performer, followed by Fiat up 15%, Pulse Kitten up 13%. And those are the kind of the leaderboards there. We've got TrustSwap there doing another good day, 13% there as well. And Texan Token not doing too bad. Tetra doing pretty well, up 9%. And then Fluffy Sliffers there. I think that's related to the Somi, trying to get Somi back on Twitter. That is they're pretty small liquidity though as well. So that is the major stuff there. Time token down the bottom there. Weight token down the bottom from Coast. Obviously, Coast there trying to get their partners up, and so hopefully they'll get back on track there with the old Coast and Fiat on-ramp. Top liquidity pools, Tetra and Tony Daytona Finance and Beetroot. They're the top pools in the hundreds of thousands of dollars at the moment. And of course, we'll see 9-inch add itself to that group there as well. Potentially be a lot bigger in terms of liquidity, a lot bigger So we may get into the million numbers with their 9-inch there. We'll be watching that. All right, they've had millions of dollars sacrificed, so reasonable to expect that as well. Now, getting into BNB pot, honorable mention here for BNB pot here. Roulette is heating up. Someone just won $48,000 on black number 7. So the old BNB pot there, that's a pretty nice little round. Round 9, 716. And that is $48,000 won there, so pretty cool. They did have some earlier rounds where people lost from the looks of it. They're all in the red, but this one $48,000. Congratulations. That is at the BNB pot there, .io. So if you want to go play that, you can do that. So I'll just post the link to the tweet there. BNB pot there. Let me put the BNB. Bam. Right. That is the number. That's what time it is now, though. You know what time it is. It is Hex daily payouts. That's what we love. Hex.com. Check it out in the video description, of course. Hex on Pulsechain, Hex on Ethereum, and of course we've got some nice little numbers today. We've got day 1309 hot off the press. What is the date here? We've got the 3rd of July, 2023. The price is up 3% to 0.0789, so just below 0.8 of a penny. We've got the payout per T-share, 6.544 Hex per T-share. So accumulating T-shares is the main game. The share rate is up 19.9 today, so earlier pays better. The share rate is going up against you. In other words, it costs you more Hex to get 1 T-share, 28,113 Hex per T-share at the moment. Average mining length there, 7.05 years is the average mining length, and the APY rate there, 38.82% is the average there as well. And like I say, I think if you did a 7-year T-share at the moment, you'd get about 24%, I think it is. So you can go and double check that, but it's somewhere in that ballpark. This is based on all the older T-shares that have been set up in the network. All right, liquidity in the pool. We've got 210 million Hex in the pool, and USD 278,000. Like I say, Hex on Ethereum or eHex, this could break up to the upside. At the moment, of course, 53% of the value of the Pulsechain Hex. So it's a lot cheaper to Hex on Ethereum, but this could move a lot easier, right? So we'll see how that goes here on the Ethereum chain. We've got 82 ETH in the pool as well. The T-shares down dramatically, 11,359. So the ownership pool in Hex is a reward pool, an ownership pool. Ownership pool's got T-shares. It's got a little bit smaller today, and back below the 9.9 million T-shares in the pool there as well. The number of Hex staked is 9.38% of all Hex is staked. Pretty small day of penalties, so people keeping their T-shares in place. And so modest there in terms of penalties. Decrease in liquid holders down 12. So we have seen these decreases here in the liquid holders. We're at 329,125. And the miners there are down 12 as well, 120,413. Total holders up 74 to 574,966. So that's day 1309 of Hex on Ethereum. And of course, we've also got Hex on Pulsechain. The price, of course, is dramatically higher, 1.517 cents at the moment, which is up 15.3%. So up 15.3% there. We saw there on the ETH chain that the price was up 3%. So definitely Pulsechain breaking away there from the Hex on ETH chain, up there 15.3%. The payouts, though, pretty similar, 6.54 Hex per T-share. But of course, the price of Hex is way higher, so you're getting a lot more US dollar value there. Increase in share rate there, pretty similar, at 19.6. We're at 28,099. The average mine length a little bit longer than on eHex at 7.05 years, and the APY there, 38.66%. We'll jump past the liquidity pools, go to the ownership pool of Hex. There are a decrease of 5,560 T-shares. So we're still sitting higher, more T-shares here, about 20,000 more. 9,917,000. So there's about 20,000 more T-shares on the Pulsechain that are mining Hex compared to the Ethereum chain, which leaves us into almost the last numbers here. 9.43% of Hex is locked on Pulsechain, and of course 375,000 in penalties. So much better day penalties on Pulsechain. So there we go. And let's look at the growth numbers. Yep. Pulsechain, the retail, obviously it's so cheap to operate on Pulsechain. We got change in holders up 34 liquid holders of Hex on Pulsechain, and we got 21 new miners on Pulsechain as well, up to 122,384. And then finally, our holders up 97 to 507,281. So that is day 52 on Pulsechain. So 309 on ETH, 52 on Pulsechain. Pretty cool. And of course, we're on day 1310 on ETH, and day 53 will be starting, if it hasn't already, on Pulsechain. So kind of cool. And you're earning about 6.5 Hex on both chains. And the combined value is about 2.3 cents of Hex. So looking good there. We all get paid. You got your T-shares getting paid. Very cool. All right, where should we leave it here? We're going to leave it on the Hex on Pulsechain after all that. That's at 1.5 cents. That chart's looking kind of cool. Looking like breakout potential there. Higher lows and breaking out of this 1.5 cent mark. Let's see if we can do it. Fingers crossed over the next 24 hours. That could be quite neat to see. All right, Pulsechain there too. Looking not too bad as well. All right, let's get into the comments to wrap up. We're an hour and 6 minutes into the live, which is pretty good timing. Let's see, back here. Hex was created to be staked. Indeed it was. Those beautiful T-shares. Stake Hex on both. Yeah, if you got Hex on both, stake on both. Definitely you're getting more Hex on Ethereum at the moment, so that's a pretty good comparative. Andrew Reynolds in the house, morning. I think we said that earlier, but good to see Andrew. Let me jump through that. I must have scrolled way back too far there. Joshua says, thanks for answering my question. Keep moving forward. Yeah, I think that's where I got up to there. Hey, you're welcome there, Joshua. Tintop as well. What's up, Tintop? Good to see you. What's up? Good to see Tintop in the house. Crypto Capital as well. Yo, yo, yo. Good to see you. Russ is in the house there too. Hello, everybody. Good to see you, Russ. Charity says, I've been using PulseBurn as a portfolio tracker. Love it. Yeah. So that got launched yesterday, if I remember rightly. So if you haven't used the tracker there, very good portfolio tracker indeed. They really looks like they've covered a lot of the cool things on here. Yeah, that is very cool. Look at that. You can paste your address in there and get all your tokens. Now, this is just a play address, so I don't have much on there. Yeah, definitely check that out. I'll post that link in the chat there in case you want to check that your portfolio on there. It does Pulsechain and ETHchain too, if I remember rightly. And also does the league. So what league you're in? I'm in a little shell league. Look at the little shells. Shell league here, $13 under 35. So yeah, pretty cool on the leagues there. Someone posted that they were in a Poseidon yesterday, which would mean they have $1.3 billion of valuation, which is pretty cool. Russ says, when Pepe say that 10 times. Yeah, I'm not going to do that, Russ, because that would be hilarious. Cherry says, the only thing it doesn't show for me is a WhatsApp. Not I have some. Otherwise, works great. He really responsive to questions on Twitter too. No wallet connection required. Nice. What I was going to say is that apparently there were massive. Let's go to Dev Huey. Dev Huey had a publication. Dev Huey. Dev Huey has said that out of Wats's, which we used to cover this as our. This used to be one of our main coverage, but we haven't covered this for a while because obviously there's so much happening on Pulsechain. But 104 watts of NFTs were burned in the last 24 hours, which is massive. That's a massive amount. But the endpoint's not so much, I don't think, 7,900, but lots of watts is there. So we're down to 20,756 watts is there on, I believe, the ETHchain here, and 20,559 on the Pulsechain side. So that is from Dev Huey. Nice honorable mention there. What else? Let's jump back to the Hex price there. We're at 1.5 cents. Day 55. Yeah, everyone talking about the day 50. No one's still providing me the link to that data, to that live where Richard said that. But yeah, day 55 coming up. It's coming up upon us. What's up, y'all? Says Cleveland. Good to see you, Cleveland. Sorry, folks, got to unplug for the night. See you, Brian. Hey, thanks so much again. Is dropping in there. We've got Zendon as well. What's your Pulsechain strategy for 12 months until 2024, 2025? We're about to finish the live stream, so I'm not going to get onto all that. Richard Hart tokens. How about that? That's it. Richard Hart tokens. Get into it. And of course, I've talked about all the other stuff in the live stream. You can go back and watch that as well. We've talked about all the stuff. PRC20s, meme coins, everything. It's all there. Sandy Beach says, having a good evening, Brian. I'm going to figure out my Hex tomorrow, says Sandy Beach. Nice. Finally, Charity says, oh, I'd probably have to go on desktop to see my level on Go Pulse, huh? Yeah, I guess so. I guess you'll have to do that. They do have a mobile version, though. So should be able to work on the mobile version. In other words, it scales itself or something for a mobile version as opposed to being an app. I think that's how they describe it. So, yep. All right, shall we wrap up? Let's go quickly visit Richard Art. I hope you've enjoyed the content today. We've really covered everything that I've seen. So cool. That's it from Richard. So nothing else there. We're going to finish on Hex at 1.5 cents. Pulsechain here and trying to get back to sacrifice, only 4% below, but it's looking kind of cool here on the old chart. So good times are upon us, and maybe D55 will be all guns for sure. All right, let's play out some cool video on the way out. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's content and making some mad gains as well. All right, let's play out this video here. I think we'll play this one. Actually, let's play this video, and then I'll play another one. All right, bye for now. Peace out. See ya.
If it accrues so much value and gets so many users, yeah, the fees will go up, and you'll just get really, really rich holding Pulse watching. Oh no, more really, really rich people. Like, you can't, here's the thing. You cannot force a free market to keep things cheap, because then crappy use cases that aren't valuable will outbid useful and valuable use cases. And do you want your chain with limited capacity to be filled up with crap? No, you don't want your chain filled up with crap. You want it filled up with nice, good things. Well, then how do you know what the difference between nice and crap is? By bidding. And the people that see more value in the chain pay more to use the chain. And then your limited resource chain, through the bidding mechanism, is filled with the most valuable things that people can fill it with. And so this like socialist USSR decree that, oh, we're just going to have cheap fees forever, it doesn't work. Because there's a finite amount of space and you have to allocate it to certain users. And who should you allocate it to? Those that can most afford it, because they're bidding with their money for how valuable the transaction is. So the solution to a limited resource isn't to screw around with the pricing. The solution to a limited resource is to create more of the resource.
All right, we don't want to forget the Pulse. That's some wise words there about how Pulsechain is getting it valued up. Just one of the many mechanisms. But of course, we've got our poll. What non-RH tokens have you bought the most on Pulsechain? And of course, we've got native Pulsechain project coins. 53% of you said that's the one that you've bought the most of, which I think is pretty good. And of course, other is 21%. So maybe that's NFTs or other coins. Popular meme coins, 13% of you. And of course, top PRC20s is 11% there as well. So very, very cool. And I see that Brian's just put another comment in to say that he's leaving again for the second time. So nice one, Brian. Take care. Look after yourself. Have a cup of tea. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye for now. Woohoo! Rock on.